Hey guys, Jeffries here, and welcome back to the Jeffries network on OpenTTD. And you are currently watching a time-lapse of me building a brand new main line to the south, following on from the line that originates, I should say, at GSJ. Now the reason I'm doing this as a time-lapse is so once again I can talk to you guys without being distracted by building stuff on the screen. So I want to tell you quickly about the schedule for next week. It's going to be a little bit different to usual because, as you know, we are very, very close to episode 100. In fact, this is episode 97 you're watching now. So anyone who does the maths know that there are 3 episodes between now and episode 100. I would quite like episode 100 to fall on a Friday, for no other reason than you get to watch a really cool episode and then it's the weekend. So here's the plan for next week. Next Monday will be episode 98. There will be no episode on Tuesday. Wednesday will be episode 99. No episode on Thursday. Friday will be episode 100. So don't be expecting episodes on Tuesday or Thursday because there will not be any whatsoever. And I feel like it gives me quite a relaxed schedule for recording because my first days at uni are next week as well. I'm back in from next Tuesday onwards, so it gives me some stress-free time to actually be able to focus on uni and also get the videos out on time. Plus, as I say, episode 100 falling on a Friday is a pretty good idea. So hopefully you guys are on board with that. If not, drop some comments down below and I'll try and explain a little bit more as to why I'm choosing to do it that way. In the meantime, we are currently watching me build this new main line. This main line is a 2-track main line. Something I don't think I've done enough of in this series so far is actually build these 2-track main lines. Last episode we kind of did one with that new cross-city route going through GSJ and connecting Guard City St. Peter to the main line out of Dartbourne. And I thought that was quite a good idea. So yeah, I'm replicating that here. There will be 3 2-track main lines coming out south of the station that we started at, and I keep meaning to say its name and I keep forgetting its name. I think it's Flaboroughgh. Flaboroughgh. I think that's its name. I might be wrong. I've no idea what I deleted on screen there. I think my mouse slipped when I had the demolition button activated, and the next thing I know, I've demolished an entire part of the town, I think that was, or maybe an industry was there as well. Not 100% sure, but I demolished quite a lot there. So apologies to Baptiste and anyone else who doesn't like me demolishing lots. I didn't mean to do it. That one was purely accidental. Also, I'm not a big fan of this huge sort of cutting that I've had to dig just so that the track isn't going sharply uphill. It's to try and get the trains running that little bit smoother. And there's a junction I build in a second which I'm not 100% happy with either. In fact, here it goes. I'm just building the junction now. Or building the prepping the land to build the junction. I'm not 100% happy with this. It depends how many trains use it, I suppose. The idea here is the tunnel that I just built actually cuts off a load of towns that I wanted to be connected to the main line. So I did a second line that comes off of the main line that then actually goes through and connects up those towns. Problem then being, of course, we have this awful looking junction, which I'm not 100% happy with, as I say, but I don't know. There's not a great deal I can do about it. It's just the way the landscape goes, I suppose. Now, originally I wanted the tunnels to head from east to west, and then again I saw the landscape and realised that wasn't going to be a good idea. So I've carried on with the track heading from north to south, and that will be the direction that the track goes instead. And it is quite sharp uphill. I should note that as well. It is very, very sharp uphill. Not the best. I could have done it better. I didn't really realise how big the hill was when I was surveying this. So we've got this huge sort of step. So I was going to build a tunnel there, and then I saw that the 2 towns were much higher up. So we end up with this huge sort of step pattern going up the mountain. I think it's safe to call it a mountain rather than a hill, because it is quite big. So I'm not 100% pleased with it, but if the trains can get up and down it okay, then I'm happy to leave it as it is. Not everything has to look good. That's something I have to keep reminding myself. Sometimes you do build something that is absolutely rubbish, and you have to sort of live with that. Plus, of course, it gets to a stage where we have to go down the hill at the other side, which is also not ideal, but it's not as bad. It's not as bad. You might also be wondering what those train windows are doing on the right hand side of the screen. That is because off camera I went ahead and tweaked the schedules of all of the diesel routes, apart from the ones out of Guard City Exchange, which is going to be renamed, was it GCX? I think was the idea from Ben DeRoche. I think it was a very cool idea. I like the way it was described to me as well. Is adding a modern flair to a city that's proud of its history. So I think that's a very, very good justification as to why to rename it that. So Guard City Exchange will be called GCX from now on, not GE. So I will go through and change the names on the trains that do actually stop there, so that in future I remember really what it's called. Especially as the high speed's coming out of there as well, it is a very modern take on what otherwise is sort of an old-timey type station. So yeah, it's a very good idea, and I'm very much on board with it. Once again, I'm building one of these strange junctions. You get these junctions a lot in Scotland, and I think you get them a lot on the Great Western Main Line as well. It's kind of depending on which way the line branches off. In this case, the line branches off to the left, so it's the in-track actually joins facing the wrong direction first, so you run wrong line, and then it switches across. I'm not quite sure why they decided to do that and not just build two flat junctions. There will be some reason. It might be where it's originally single track and then it's been doubled. That might be a good reason for it. I don't know, there's just something about them that looks pretty cool, so I decided might as well just carry on and use them. I was in the middle of talking about the train windows, wasn't I? Yes, I redid all the schedules for the trains, for the diesel trains. I redid all the stopping times, I redid some of the wait times, and then I auto-filled all of the timetables again. The reason I've got those windows open was the most efficient way I could find to make the trains actually behave themselves when auto-filling was to send all trains to the depot and then send sort of one representative from each route out on the track to auto-fill the timetable, and then once that train has finished its journey, send all the others off. And the 5 you can see open on the right hand side are the trains that haven't finished their journey yet and haven't finished auto-filling their route. Once I've actually finished this route, there will be 2 more schedules that have to be auto-filled again, so I sort of shot myself in the foot a little bit trying to do all the auto-filling and then having to sort of redo it. This, what you can see on the screen now, by the way, is one of my favourite station plans. The whole station is going to be built on the island between the 2 bridges. Something that I think I've done once or twice before in the past, but I don't know, there's something cool about it, having a station built entirely on an island. Amsterdam Central Station is built entirely on an island. It's actually built on an artificial island as well. Most of the station is on top of water, but the actual station building itself, where you go in, where the tram stops are, is built on an artificial island, sort of in the middle of what was once the river. Which I think is, again, quite impressive, because it was built a long time ago now. Sort of, I'm trying to think, 100 and something years ago Central Station was built. 1880 something, I think it was. Someone will tell me in the comments, I know, but I say a long time ago. So because of that, it's very clever engineering, and it's something that Amsterdam, especially in terms of water management, is a pioneering city, because the whole city is built on pretty much marshland and ex-canals and waterways and rivers, and a lot of it's built on reclaimed land. So in terms of sort of learning how to build on reclaimed land, etc., the Dutch especially, never mind just Amsterdam, the Dutch are very, very good at it. World leaders, I would say, but I don't know. Hong Kong, pretty good at it as well, and Tokyo. Anyway, back to trains. So we got the schedules completely redone. The diesel trains are now running a lot more efficiently. I've also re-liveried the HSTs. You might have seen it in the past. I can't remember if I showed it on screen or not. But there are 3 HST routes at the moment coming out of, or coming on this main line. The one that comes out of St. Peter is in First Great Western livery, as you already know. There's nothing new there, nothing exciting there. But the new liveries we've got, instead of 3 lots of BR Blue, we've now got one Intercity Executive, which is actually the route that will now come to this new station at Sladborough, I think it is. I can't see because my little viewfinder window is a bit too small for me to actually be able to read the text properly. But that's one of them, the Intercity Executive, not the Swallow, which is the alternative. The other route that goes out of Pronworth is GNER livery, which again I'm quite a fan of. It looks quite good actually on the HST. I didn't think it would look that good, but it does actually do a good job. And the third livery is East Coast, which technically is true, because the trains do run sort of on the East Coast main line, if you can call it that. It doesn't really get close to the coast, but it gets about as close to the coast as the West Coast main line gets to the west coast of Britain. So I think we can use that still. Obviously there are some electric express trains we've got that are also in East Coast livery, so I'm planning on joining those up in the future. Something just beeped in my ear. I've no idea what. That's a bit disconcerting when something just beeps in my ear like that. Not sure I'm a fan of that. Anyway, so now I've just done some signalling and I'm building some stations, and it's all looking pretty good. Soon I will let the music take over. It's quite a long one this time. It's a half-an-hour time lapse. I didn't want music to play for the whole of it. I did want to do some talking as well. Originally it was 15 minutes, and I decided that was a little bit short, so I took it up to half an hour. Because I plan on doing some talking first. So we're building these stations. We're doing signalling. It's unlike most of the other main lines I've done in the past. Some of the HSTs will stop at some of these sort of by-the-way stations. Obviously, the HSTs will take the tunnel route where the 2 lines diverge, because they are the faster option. But both stations either side of those junctions will be called at by HSTs, and the station on the island will also be called at by HSTs, because it's the only connection that they have at the moment to the mainland. Almost there's one road bridge, but I plan on removing that in the future and having the entire city built on an island, because I just think that's quite cool and quite unique. So the HSTs will also call there. And we're going to try and get as many trains as possible on this line without overdoing the capacity, because that won't be great either. That'll get a little bit annoying. I've put the signals 9 tiles apart instead of the usual 6 or 10. So actually they're 8 apart, sorry. So I've done it like a halfway point, so that express trains can still stretch their wheels, but the slow trains won't get in their way as much. And in terms of station size, most of the stations are 5 tiles long. Some of them are 6, and this one here is, I think it's actually 7. There's a couple of other types of train I want to try and call here in the future, which are slightly longer than 6. So, is that 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that is 7. So yeah, once again, it's a little bit unique. But I'm trying to do that now. I'm trying to build. Obviously, you know, I'm heavily inspired by British railways. They're the best examples that I have available to me, because I live in Britain. I get on the train a fair amount when I go to London. In fact, I get on the train pretty much every time I go to London at the moment. So I see a lot of different sort of junction types, station types, track types, all that kind of thing. So in the past, I've sort of done usual 4 or 6 tile stations, and that's about it. Whereas now I'm trying to shake it up a bit more. So 5 tiles to match the 5 tiles that we already had on the majority of this line. New types of junction, new types of trains, new types of scheduling, new types of stop patterns as well, so that trains that may not normally stop at secondary stations actually will stop at these stations. So the station I'm currently building on screen now, HSTs will stop here, because it's the last station before the lines diverge. And as I say, they will stop on the other side as well. And I put some waypoints down so they stop on the right side of the platforms. But you know, yeah, it's unique. It's shaking up. It's making it a little bit different. I'm taking on board people's suggestions in the comments as well about using different station styles. Again, I'm using the Dutch platforms right now because it's easier. But when I come to building branch lines in the future, I will use the rural stations more, and I'll use the Japanese platforms more. And I prefer those because they show passengers, but I prefer the Dutch ones because there's more variety in what you can and can't do. So you've got the little sort of steps going down the underpasses, you've got the benches, you've got the CTAs, you've got the schedules, you've got the roof types, you've got all of that kind of stuff. So I just think it's a better option, those platforms. If the British platforms and the Japanese platforms had more variety, I would definitely use them. Most definitely. Right, you can see me now with the HST, the Intercity HST, just extending the route. Adding some new stops in, changing the stop times, make sure it's all set up properly. And then I'm going to do this for the slow train, and then the episode will end. So I think actually this video is 20 minutes long, so I might as well leave you... I said half an hour before, but I got that totally wrong. It's 20 minutes. So I might as well leave you with a little bit of music at the end here, just so you can just listen to some nice music, I suppose. I've basically run out of things to talk about, so there's no point in me sat here trying to make up stuff to talk about. So once again, guys, don't forget, next Tuesday there will be no video, and the same thing for next Thursday, no video. That's so that we can make sure episode 100 falls on the Friday. So all that's left for me to say now really is thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and especially if you're enjoying the series. Drop some comments down below for ideas for future episodes. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, be sure to click the subscribe button. If you have already subscribed to my channel, thank you guys for your continued support. And until next time, I will see you soon.